how we doing today? Merry Christmas. How are we all doing? I wasn't going to put a video out until next Monday, but then I thought, you know, it's Christmas. I got to put a video out for Christmas. So I got a little quick message for you, which will come in shortly. But I'm going to talk to you first today about a couple of things I've done and one of the big mistakes I made. So I'm going to set you down right here, angle you up just a little bit. I'm going to look inside here. I've got the countertop, or the framework, I guess. I've just got it sitting in here. I don't have it bolted in yet because I'm going to be taking it in and out, you know. But I got the panels done just to show you how I'm doing these panels. Now, what I did, let me go get it. Okay, so what I did is I went and got some of this flooring, laminated flooring. This is by, it's kind of like Pergo flooring. This is actually Traffic Master, and I'll bring you over and look at it. This is the stuff I did right. It's one of the, you know, I got the mistake I'm gonna show you here in a second. But anyway, this is what I did right. The Traffic Master, it's flooring, it's Lakeshore Pecan stone color. So it's kind of a gray, you know, stone color, okay? That's gonna be on all the walls, the cabinetry, everything. Not the walls, all the cabinets and the overheads. Anything that's gonna be panelized right here inside this aluminum, that's gonna be this stuff, okay? And then on the floor, I've got the same exact stuff, just in a different color, okay? This is Traffic Master, laminated flooring, Lakeshore Pecan. This is Lakeshore Pecan stone. As you can see the difference, gray and this is brown, okay? This is gonna be the floor, this is gonna be the walls, all matching. I'm gonna try really hard to color coordinate this and make it look nice instead of, that's one of the things I did wrong with the trailer out here, is I've got too many things going on. I got too many different kinds of wood. I've got too many different kinds of frames and, you know, just stuff. It's a mix mash, okay? So this, when I did this, you know, it's a new van. Hopefully I'll have it around for many, many years. I want to do it right. So let's try to build it and make it look pretty, okay? So anyway, got these panels in here, and all they do is they slip inside these little grooves right here, as you can see, okay? That's how they fit in, okay? But you got to take it apart to slide it in and put the piece back in, okay? The problem is they rattle, okay? And when I was up there a couple days ago, I was up at the 8020 store, which Neff Power is a company. Anyway, I was up there and I was talking to the guy, and I showed him what I was going to do here and everything. I said, you know, it's going to rattle. I said, I'm going to, on the inside where you can't see it, I'm going to put some like clear silicone caulking and put that in there, and that will stop it from rattling. And he says, hold on. He walks over and gets something. He comes back with his little gasket material, kind of like the gasket that goes around the door, but much, much smaller. And what it does, it'll fit right inside that little crack right there, okay? Right in that little crack that's made, you can squeeze it in there. And it's a rubber gasket sealer kind of thing. And the thing is, he says, you put caulking in there, if you ever take this apart, the caulking's a mess to try to, you know, straighten up. And the plastic, that little ribbing or whatever they call it, gasket, I guess. Anyway, you can just pull it out and reuse it, you know, pull it in and out however you need to. So, so I'm going to probably go buy some of that stuff. Okay, that'll be later on. So anyway, and I think somebody even mentioned it in the comments that they make that stuff, and you're right, yeah. So I think that's what I'll do there. So anyway, rattle, rattle, rattle. Let me aim you down just a little bit. So anyway, that's the good thing I got going on here with the flooring, the walls, and all that. It's all going to be kind of color coordinated, and it's going to work. So, yay! The problem though is that dang water tank. Now let me go over here and show you. Driver's side sliding door. Okay. Here I got this big water tank, and it's the leftover. If you remember the cargo trailer, I was going to put 150 gallons of water in that thing, and then I changed my mind, decided to put only 75. Just there's two 75-gallon tanks. Let me turn around here for the better lighting. There we go. So I only put one of these tanks in the trailer, and I was going to leave one in the bed of the pickup. So then I could just run to town, grab some water, come home, or come back out to the trailer and transfer it over, right? And I thought that might be a better idea. So I left this one just sitting here in the shop. Well, I go to build the van. I thought, well, I've got the tank. I might as well use it. You know, why buy another one? I already got this one. Problem is, it's kind of big and in the way, and it just doesn't fit very well. So I was going to put it over here on the inside of the fender wells, but then it come out too far. So then I changed the flange. I talked about this in the last video. Move it forward and move it up. The problem is this 80-20 comes in 8 foot, well, 97 inches. It'd be 8 foot 1 inch sections, and from there all the way to the front here, it's 8 foot. It comes out to about right here. I just kind of have this stuff laying in here just for visual. Okay, it's not bolted in. You know, it's just standing here. Okay, so balanced. But anyway, I'm gonna have the water tank here. You're gonna have the water heater. This jug here represents the water heater, and that water heater is going to be roughly this size, about 1 foot by 1 foot by about 1.5 feet tall ish. I have the water pump in here. I'm going to have valves and all the plumbing, the wire, the hoses, and all that stuff. And that's not a lot of room, you know. I mean, sure, it can be done, but boy, it'd be awful tight, and boy, you'd have to really be good at your fittings and stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to be that good. So I thought, well, why don't I buy a smaller tank? Well, okay, maybe I could buy a smaller tank. Be a same size tank, side and up and down and side to side, but the length would be shorter. This is 52 inches, and I could get one maybe back around this area, or even this, you know, a 55 or 65 gallon tank. 65 would be about right here, and 55 would be about right here. That would give me a lot more room to work and everything. Oh man, that'd be great. Let's do that. Well, I need to buy another tank. You know, I've already got this one. Then, I don't know, somewhere I remembered you can weld plastic. So let's get this stuff out the way. So I got room to show you. Get these out of here. All right, moving on this metal stuff out of here. And that one we'll just shove back. All right. So now I got this tank, and I got to thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I could push it back over the fender well? Well, I saw on some forums and stuff and whatnot, there's a tank you can buy that's over the fender well, okay? They're specially made for sprinters, okay? I don't know if it'd fit this one, probably would, but I don't know. But they're like $250, almost $300 for these tanks, or maybe more. I don't remember. They're very expensive tanks. And they're only like 30 or 35 gallons because the fender well takes so much of the space out. And yeah, it would work perfect if you want to spend that much money for a water tank for a sprinter. If I spend it for this one, it might not fit. So, I don't know. And I decided, no, that wouldn't be a good idea. And then, I got to thinking, you can weld plastic. So I got to thinking, what if I notched that out so this tank would slide back over the fender well? That ain't a bad idea. So what I did, I notched her out. And yeah, see, it's supposed to go over here, and then where this would normally sit, it'll just slide back. And man, that fits perfect now. I mean, perfect. Even right here at this notch, it slides in behind that notch. That can help become support for for it moving around. So you hit the slam on the brakes, this will, solid part of the van would catch that corner, plus other places, the framework. Man, that'll fit perfect in there. That's great. So what I decided was cut it out, and let's weld it together. Well, what you do is, I did a little thinking about this. I sat down, smoked my pipe, and did a little thinking. And what you do is, I needed to be 8 inches high and 10 inches out. From the wall out is like 10 inches, and from the floor up is 8 inches. So I'm measuring this out 8 and 10 inches, and then I got thinking, when I cut this out, am I going to flip this over? And the 10 inch, or the part that needs to be 8 inches is going to be this high, and the part that needs to be 10 inches is only going to be this short, and I'm going to have this huge gap right here. Let me think about this a little bit more. And I was right to think that, because that's what would happen. So I thought, now let's cut 10 and 10. So we come out 10, we come up 10. So this tank would actually be above the fender well. I put some styrofoam under there to support it, okay? And so let's do 10, 10, and then from the front to back is 28 inches. So 10 by 10 by 28. Got my jigsaw out and cut it all up. And what you do is, this corner right here, you just take this piece out and you flip it over, and that corner goes down in this corner back in here, okay? Yep, right back in here, okay? And everything lines up and you can weld. So I did it. I lined it up right. Great. It's gonna work. So now I gotta go get my welder. So I ran into town. I knew there was one at the at Harbor Freight, and I know Harbor Freight. But anyway, I went down to Harbor Freight and bought the iron, the cheap $18 iron. Okay, it looks like a soldering iron is what it, not a soldering gun, a soldering iron. Okay, but it's got this little triangle iron tip that you put on here and iron this. You set it on there until it gets hot and melts the plastic, and then you just kind of smoosh it around, and you weld by, here's a piece of metal or a piece of plastic or whatever, you bring them together, and then the heat melts a little puddle on each one of those, and they flow together, and it becomes a weld. Okay, so that's what I was trying to do here, and it welded really nice in certain spots, and other places it just didn't do so good. So anyway, I got about halfway done, and the iron burned up on me, and it just got so hot it melted the plastic and just ruined it, right? So the next morning I went down to Harbor Freight and took it to them. I said, this didn't last very long. I bought this yesterday, and look at it, it just kind of melted and fell apart. Oh yeah, okay, so they gave me my money back, and I went back and got a different iron, okay? And the other different welder, I should say. And this welder was the more expensive one. It was like 70 bucks for a hot air iron. And so instead of an electric metal piece touching and melting the plastic, it's like a heat gun, really, really hot heat gun blowing hot air out, and it melts the plastic, and then it stirs and mixes together. It worked a lot better. So I welded it all up, and of course you can see all this black right here. The filler rod that came with it was black, and so it's the same stuff, it's just colored black instead of white. Okay, so anyway, I welded it all up. The black looks nasty as heck, but it's the same thing, so no problem. So I welded it all together, and it all looked pretty good. Well, I better test this. So I go stand it up on end, put a garden hose on, fill it up, you know, from the bottom, fill it all the way up to about here. And as it comes up, leak, 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 over here, leak, leak. I had about, I don't know, 6 or 7 leaks in this thing, you know. Well, shoot. So anyway, while I was welding, I kind of was getting more and more concerned. Is this going to be a strong weld? You got to have good penetration on a weld to make it last and make it good. So all these leaks and stuff is telling me I'm not getting good penetration and everything. Now I could get the iron out and I could weld it up a little bit better, you know. And the problem is I got ready to re-weld this thing, got the heater, the iron, and it wouldn't turn on. It had internally it'd burn up or something. I don't know. Harbor Freight, you know. It's just, it's junk stuff, you know. It's cheap, but it's cheap. So anyway, I couldn't re-weld it, and I thought, well, let me go down and get another one or whatever. So then I got, the more I thought about it, how much am I going to trust this? Okay. Now, reason I say that is, let me turn you around here and get in the better light. Yeah, here it is. Okay. If you can see, you know, I got to use my fingernail here, right on the edge of the plastic right here, okay? And then it comes in about 1/8 of an inch. That's the thickness of this plastic. This plastic is about 1/8 of an inch thick. Now this piece butts up against it, and you can see the line right here. And I'm thinking to myself, if you can still see the line, that means it's not penetrated, okay? It's just surface melted, but it doesn't penetrate down in there good. But I got kind of, I don't know, a little, what's the word, uncertain that it was going to work well. Yeah, I could patch this up and heat this up and get it to where it doesn't leak today, and I get it mounted in here and build the whole thing out, and I go to driving down the road and the bumps and the water sloshing around and paint banging on this. Will it last? Now this is formed in the mold, you know, so it's good and solid, but this weld, what if that thing cracks a little bit? Doesn't have to be a big massive failure, just a little bit of a little piece right here breaks loose, a little piece over here maybe breaks loose. Okay, now I got a leak, and it's leaking all over inside the van that I'd worked. Whoa, that dropped you there. it leaks in the van. Yeah, let me turn you here, sorry. In the van that I've worked so hard for, I got to basically tear it all apart so I can get the flooring out and put a new floor in and put it all back together. Now, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it to save a little bit of space. So what I decided to do is scrap this idea. This tank is basically ruined as far as, I mean, it'll probably still hold water that's out here. I could maybe fill it up with water for washing my hands out here at the shop or something, you know. But I don't really want to trust it in a van in different, you know, temperatures up and down. You know, be hot one day and then cold, and you know, a few days later, and the temperature variances, and then like I said, the water sloshing around in here, maybe beating on it. You know, I don't know. It wasn't worth it. So I just went ahead and ordered another tank. And instead of a 75-gallon tank, I ordered a 65-gallon tank. Now, the 65-gallon tank, what that'll do, let me flip this around here. Instead of it being about right here and the water tank, okay, it'll be 8 inches over, about right there. And that gives me a lot more room in this area to work for plumbing and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, 65-gallon tank's on the way. It'll be here in a week or so, something like that. So what else? That's pretty much it for today's video. The real reason I wanted to make a video wasn't to tell you about the water tank. I could have done that next Monday. The real reason is today's Christmas. Well, today's Christmas Eve. But you're going to be seeing this on Christmas Day. And I wanted just to remind people, okay? Oh, it's Christmas. Look what I got. I got for Christmas. Look what I got. I got this for Christmas. Woo! Look what I got. I got this for Christmas. Look at all the toys and all the gifts, you know. It's not about that. Christmas is about a birthday. Okay, remember the reason for the season. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's not about the gifts. It's about going over to your family, spending time with your family and kids and all this stuff, and going to church, going to just remembering whose birthday it is. That's all I'm saying. So with that, ciao, later, bye, Merry Christmas.